Lead Story Prime, where the truth comes first. Only on CVM TV.
Be crowned the back-to-school champion parent with a Sagicor Bank unsecured loan.
The time by Sagicor Bank is
the internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Hey everybody, I'm Yendi, and this is Odyssey with Yendi. In this space, we connect with some of your favorite people as they share their journeys. Here we have some unfiltered conversations as we deep dive into their inspirations, motivations, and experiences to inspire our own life journey.
Odyssey with Yendi, brought to you by Grace, singer and Island at Sur-
Tonight in CVM News at 7, Education Minister lauds end-slip schools for improved performance. PNP holds mass rally in Crossroads. While in sports, Kishane Thompson and Sharika Jackson win at the Diamond League meet in Poland. Hello from Kingston, Jamaica. This is CVM News at 7 for Saturday, August 16, 2025. I'm Curlin Brown. The Ministry of Education is lauding students from the more than 40 high schools who have shown significant improvement in this year's Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate CSEC examinations. Speaking at the start of the weekend, Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon highlighted the schools and congratulated the performances.
The 56 schools listed under the National School Learning and Intervention Plan were selected by the Education Ministry as their performance is below par. According to Dr. Morris-Dixon, the ministry intervened in these schools by hosting math and English camps, and now that CSEC results are out, the performance in mathematics and English language is something to talk about. There was a 100% improvement in English language for the schools.
Charlie Smith High School, from 13.1% last year to 75% of their students passing English A. We have Bustamante High School, from 12.1% to 51.9%. We have Fair Prospect High School, 9.5% to 73.7%. Greater Portmore High School, from 21.3% to 78%. Merlin Otti High School, 19.2% to 85%. Glengoff High School, 16.7% to 82.8%. These are in English A, and as I said, is 100% of the 56 schools improved.
She said 47 of the 56 schools showed improvement in mathematics.
Edwin Allen High School went from 25.4% to 74.1% of their students passing. And you had St. James High School going from 26.5 to 40.5. Cross Keys High School from 7% to 40%. Iona High, 29.2 to 41.9. Marcus Garvey Technical from 11.5 to 31.5. And Kemp's Hill from 22.8% to 29.4%.
For the Education Minister, it means that children who are underperforming can be reached. And while she lauds the work being done so far, she is cognizant that work still needs to be done.
We still have more work to do, but you see that our schools are making the effort. Our teachers are working hard. Our principals are working hard. They're working with us. We can't at the ministry just say, oh, we're going to do these interventions and they just happen. The school has to be receptive. The school has to do a lot of work to create the environment for the interventions to work. And they did.
Marjorie Gordon, CVM News.
Now, supporters of the People's National Party, the PNP, are now gathered at Crossroads for its Kingston and St. Andrew Parish meeting. Party officials are continuing to promote their party's policy, ideas and plans for the country if they form the next government of Jamaica. The PNP launched its manifesto on Wednesday of this week. Now, this is the same meeting the PNP postponed last Sunday, and the party said it did so to avoid any potential run-ins with supporters of the Jamaica Labour Party who had their own mass rally on the same day in Halfway Tree, 2 miles from the location. Now, in light of the rescheduled meeting, the Jamaica Constabulary Force announced some major traffic restrictions that went into effect 6 a.m. to midnight. For Halfway Tree, motorists travelling along Halfway Tree Road towards downtown via Crossroads will not be able to pass Retirement Road. Instead, they will have to take the alternate route by turning right on Retirement Road, left onto Studio One Boulevard and access Slipen Road. Motorists travelling from downtown towards Halfway Tree using Orange Street will not be able to continue towards Crossroads upon reaching Torrington Bridge. As a result, motorists will be rerouted through Torrington Bridge, Slipen Road, Studio One Boulevard, Retirement Road, Halfway Tree Road and other alternative corridors. Now, motorists travelling along the Old Hope Road towards Crossroads will not be able to pass the intersection of Old Hope and Eureka Road. Instead, they will be redirected towards downtown, Tomred Cam Road, Camp Road, among other differing routes. And where motorists are travelling towards the intersection of Old Hope Road, Eureka Road, a detour will be made through the areas of Eureka Road, Halfway Tree Road, Retirement Road, Studio One Boulevard, among other thoroughfares. Now, motorists travelling along Marosco Road towards Crossroads will not be able to access Crossroads at Caledonia Crescent. The detour encompasses a route through those areas we mentioned. And PNP President Mark Golding, speaking to a gathering in Maroon Town, South St. James, went into more details about how the average citizen should be able to own a home under a PNP administration. He states PNP representatives have been identifying lands in their respective constituencies to facilitate the construction of promised affordable housing, at least 500 in each constituency.
We're going to juke them with the Young Person Deposit Fund. We're going to establish a deposit fund within the National Housing Trust so young people up to 45 years old who want to pay down on their first home and can't find the money for the deposit will get a grant from the National Housing Trust to cover the deposit. Money they don't have to pay back, $500,000, courtesy of the next PNP government.
Mr. Golding also made mention of additional plans he is hoping can appeal to those deemed marginalized.
The rent-to-own scheme is for the people who right now can't qualify for an NHT mortgage because they can't prove their income. They don't get a pay slip because they're not employed to some big company or whatever. They might be a farmer, they might be a taxi operator, a hairdresser, a cosmetologist, they have a little shop, a cook shop or whatever. we will say you can come into possession of that house that we are building as a tenant, and you can pay the rent, which will be equivalent to the mortgage. And if you make your payments on a monthly basis on time for 6 months, we will treat that as proof of income. You don't need the pay slip. You will qualify for the mortgage. You can draw down on the loan, and you can move up from being a tenant to be an owner of that house and have your place on the rock which you own.
And the PNP is also touting a position it has always fought hard for the rights of the Jamaican people by taking the government to court where it has the view of injustice, irrespective of financial costs.
My current leader is expecting that you will give me the nod and send me come a town to come work for you.
On the campaign trail again, this time in South St. James. The PNP's Nikisha Burchell is hopeful she will be the first female candidate to represent the constituency. A forthright Burchell telling the crowd the administration led by Mark Golding is caring and will place the interests of the people first. No hesitation in mentioning the government's handling of particular situations.
I remember when some students, some Jamaican doctors studying in Ukraine were stranded in Ukraine when Ukraine had a war. And this government, Kamina Johnson and Andrew Holness government, said they must take out loan if they want to come home to Jamaica. But this man, go in his pocket and he take out his money and send a Ukraine for our children and brought them back to Jamaica. That's our leader.
Burchell reminded that Mark Golding has been championing the cause to protect the rights of the Jamaican people in the courts.
When they want to use NIDS to collect your information, this man has said courthouse for you and do all this. And in carry go courthouse, so they can't force nothing for you. And when they use the state of emergency to pressure poor people with no results in crime reduction, this man said, no, sir, you're going too bad now, Andrew. He took them to court again.
South St. James is a PNP stronghold. Derek Kelly held the seat from 1989 to 2020, and after deciding to retire from representational politics and therefore not contesting the 2020 election, the JLP's Homer Davis took advantage, defeating the PNP's Walton Small. For Nikisha Burchell, if the court cases are anything to go by, then she is entertaining hope of returning the seat to the PNP once again.
We want them in a courthouse, and I see them so September 3. We are going to walk them again. When Homer Davis came to this constituency, he came in thinking that it was going to be an easy run. And then when I entered the race, he said, be careful, Labour rights, because she can rev up the PNP base and she can attract the young people. And it's prophecy, because so said, so done.
Damon Phillips, CVM News.
And as CVM News continues to bring you highlights from both major political campaigns, in our countdown towards Decision 25, the Jamaica Labour Party was in Manchester, not only talking about its booklet of achievements, but telling voters what's priority in its next phase. The Member of Parliament who first won the hearts of voters in his Manchester constituency for 33 years was on the dance floor for a spot meeting in Devon in the parish, while not as the Manor Yard headliner anymore. But his contribution was not lost in the crowd.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Much is being made about the person handpicked by the Prime Minister Audley Shaw's successor, now that the JLP stalwart, who also served as Finance Minister, has thrown in his hat, stepping aside for the namesake of his twin sister, slowly getting the name Woman a Yard with international experience.
I invited Audrey to join the government because I have a special mission for her. Remember what I said earlier, that this administration has solved what is called the capital investment problem. Jamaica is not short of big brain people. No, we have a whole heap of them. What we're short of are people who can get things done. The reason why I've asked Audrey to join the government and why I've now said I want you in Parliament to be a part of the legislative arm in the lower house is that the government, our new government, will put in place a new unit within the Ministry of the Office of the Prime Minister called SPEED.
He says he intends to add speed to the order of business should they ring in another term.
We have to start to look at the machinery of government to make that machinery work faster, work more efficient, use less resources and deliver more results for the people of the country.
Of course, the Prime Minister did not leave out his booklet as he continues to weigh the mood of the people preparing for the race. My job is to mind your business, he told the people, arguing the successive administrators have not been able to answer convincingly when asked what have they done with the authority given to them.
The debate over performance is already won.
Transitioning now to what he describes as another phase of the campaign, the manifesto phase to deal with what the party intends to do for the people, more water and improved road head the list of possibilities, but needs investment and their mark.
A vote for the Jamaica Labour Party is a vote on a reliable, dependable, strategic government that knows how to implement.
Popular social media blogger and Jamaica Labour Party activist Craig Oates is scheduled to appear before the Hanover Parish Court in Lucy on September 16, following an incident inside the Hanover Municipal Corporation's building where the Electoral Office of Jamaica, the EOJ, was hosting its nomination briefing. Reports are during the meeting, Oates got up and went to the downstairs hallway of the Municipal Corporation where he allegedly started to verbally attack the acting regional service supervisor, Tevin Spence, which is a position Oates occupied just over a year ago while he was employed at the municipality. The police say the exchange between the men turned physical, forcing the meeting to end early. Oates is now facing assault charges, while Spence has been countercharged with destruction of property after Oates claimed his test glasses were damaged during the incident. Spence told CVM News he was going about his regular duties at the municipal corporation when he was attacked by Oates. Now, Oates once sought to represent Hanover Eastern on the People's National Party's ticket, but lost that bid and recently switched allegiance to the Jamaica Labour Party. Stay with us for more news in a moment.
Global events. From social issues to breaking news, Lead Story Prime dives deeper, cuts through the noise, and uncovers the stories that shape your world. Join us every Tuesday at 8 p.m. for Lead Story Prime with me, George Davis, for an hour of incisive analysis, expert interviews, and unparalleled coverage of the issues you care about. Lead Story Prime, your front row seat to the most compelling discussions. Lead Story Prime, where the truth comes first. Only on CVM TV.
Hey everybody, I'm Yendi, and this is Odyssey with Yendi. In this space, we connect with some of your favorite people as they share their journeys. Here we have some unfiltered conversations as we deep dive into their inspirations, motivations, and experiences to inspire our own life journey.
Odyssey with Yendi, brought to you by Grace, Singer, and Islandnet Services.
Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins, and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's a live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yeah. Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
Welcome you back with news that a truck driver lost his life in the Bogwell Gorge in St. Catherine Friday afternoon during a bizarre incident. Reports from the police are 61-year-old Linton Davis of a Greater Portmore address in the parish was driving an Isuzu motor truck heading towards Spanish Town at about 3:30 when a boulder fell on top of the truck. He was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Now, the gorge, which was for years the main corridor linking the country's southern region and the north coast via the iconic flat bridge before the highway, has experienced hazards from falling rocks, landslides and flooding. Warnings are usually issued and the gorge closed during heavy rainfall, which renders the area impassable. And to a CVM News follow-up, the police uncovered chilling details in last weekend's triple shooting in Reading, St. James, where a police officer and his family came under gunfire. According to investigators, the attackers, who are said to be members of the notorious KDF gang, were contracted to kill the family at a cost of $100,000. The police say operations resulted in the arrest of a woman in Hanover and the fatal shooting of two alleged gang members, and they are pursuing all leads with charges expected to follow soon. The officer's wife succumbed to her injuries while he and his son remain in hospital. Let's see what's happening in the rest of the world. We begin with news elsewhere in the region. Hurricane Erin has rapidly intensified into a rare Category 5 hurricane, packing maximum sustained winds of 160 miles per hour and is expected to gain even more strength. National Hurricane Center Director Mike Brennan told a briefing the extremely powerful storm had explosively deepened and intensified overnight after growing from tropical storm strength on Friday.
An extremely powerful, now Category 5 Hurricane Erin, which has explosively deepened and intensified here over the last 6 to 12 hours to the north of the northern Leeward Islands. Currently, right now, maximum sustained winds based on the data we have from both the NOAA and Air Force Reserve Hurricane Hunter aircraft now up to 160 miles per hour. That's up from 100 miles per hour around 2 a.m. Eastern time. So very rapid strengthening. The minimum central pressure down to an estimated around 917 millibars this morning. So Erin, a very powerful hurricane. Thankfully, the core of Erin remains well to the north of the northern Leeward Islands, now about 105 miles to the north of Anguilla, 235 miles northeast of San Juan, Puerto Rico. But these islands are feeling the peripheral effects of this very powerful hurricane. And I did want to show this image that was taken off of the NOAA P3 aircraft this morning by the NESDA's Ocean Winds team. And you can see the very calm winds, calm sea surface here in the calm, relatively calm winds of the eye wall, right next to these extreme waves out in the eye wall itself. So just a stunning photograph. And we've really seen the value of the aircraft reconnaissance as Erin has explosively deepened this morning, really helping us keep track of exactly how strong the storm is.
And farther afield, U.S. President Donald Trump has said he wants to bypass a ceasefire in Ukraine to move directly to a permanent peace agreement after his meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. In a major shift of position, the U.S. president said on Truth Social, following Friday's summit, this would be the best way to end the horrific war between Russia and Ukraine, adding ceasefires often do not hold up. More from the BBC.
Although it was Donald Trump hosting Vladimir Putin in Alaska, it was the Russian president who was given the first word at the joint press conference. He said he welcomed Donald Trump like a neighbor, clearly positioning himself in charge of the negotiations. Putin then went on to calling Ukraine, quote, a brotherly nation, 3.5 years into his all-out war against Ukraine.
Чтобы украинская урегулировка носила устойчивый и долгосрочный характер, должны быть устранены все первопричины кризиса.
Although Trump was unclear about the talks, especially in terms of a possible ceasefire, he said the meeting was, quote, extremely productive, unquote, despite what appears to be no deal.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. President. That was very profound, and I will say that I believe we had a very productive meeting. There were many, many points that we agreed on, most of them, I would say, a couple of big ones.
The US president then said he will call up NATO allies and Volodymyr Zelensky, despite the word ceasefire nowhere to be heard after the Alaska meeting.
Thank you so much.
And that's it for regional and international news. And now something to cheer about. You know, it has been established that artificial intelligence is taking over the global market by storm. And of course, Jamaica entered a race and performed exceptionally well in China. Drissel Mills tells us more.
Jamaica's first national AI team. These 4 remarkable students represented the country at the International Olympiad in AI, held in Beijing, China, earlier in August. Their coach and lead instructor at Halls of Learning, Nasha Frith, shared her excitement on the results of the team.
We went up against about 80, a little bit over 80 other countries, so like Singapore, China, the US, Canada, all major countries, Caribbean countries, all across the world. And within or from those 80 countries, there were over 300 individuals participating in that individual contest. In order to get any sort of recognition, you had to be in the upper half percentile. So to put it into perspective, just the fact that they got recognition means they were in that upper half of 300 and odd people. And then in that upper half, one student got an honorable mention because one of their solutions was so amazing that even though they didn't get the medal, they had to get recognition for it. And to me, that is extremely impressive and shouldn't be taken lightly, right?
AI is a big deal. To be a part of this major milestone, the students were happy to share their achievements with us.
I feel proud to represent my country. I've always wanted the opportunity to do it, and through this, I finally got that. When I got the email that I was in, and I told my mother, and everybody in the house just got up and cheered for me, and when I told my friends, it was the same kind of reaction. So I just felt a lot of love and them being proud of me.
Really proud. This would be my second time doing an event like this, representing the country, and like the first time, it's just a fun experience because I get to learn.
I was very proud and thankful because it's the first time I've ever done anything of that nature. It was the first time I was called up to represent the country and even leave the country, so it was like a life-changing experience for me.
The competition recognized individual strengths, which resulted in Matthew Williams receiving a silver medal for his overall performance and Cruz Kane with an honorable mention.
I was beaming. I felt I was overjoyed. I mean, that means it's like I've done it and not just me. Jamaica has done it. So that's just a message to every other country that we're on the map. A lot of time management went into it because not even just school, I also had a lot of extracurriculars as well. So I had to use scheduling and I had to use a bunch of planners to ensure that I get everything done.
Honestly, I was a bit surprised because competition did kind of rough me up a bit. And my parents were also happy when I told them.
Marvin Hall, founder of Halls of Learning, a leading educational services company providing robotics and coding clubs to students and also sponsors for the team, shared his joy of seeing the team succeed.
Happy to bring the National AI Olympiad first to Jamaica. We organized it, hosted it, and then took the children through 4 rounds of competition to select the final team. That final top 20 went through 8 weeks of training, led by our coach, Nasha Frith. And to get to the International Olympiad in Beijing, Halls of Learning also sponsored the team. And so that's an indication of the level of belief we have in the idea that it's important for students to get exposed to the latest and the greatest. In this case, it's AI. And also a belief in the abilities of our students to shine once we put them on the right stages overseas.
There are challenges faced in operating a STEM-based